Holy cow, what can be said? It's been a long while since I made a video. Life, one can say. Anyway, I wanted to make this video for the Lost World Jurassic Park. Um, Jurassic June's coming up. We all know that May is really Star Wars month since the prequel trilogy and the original trilogy released all in May. But holy cow, The Lost World Jurassic Park turns 25. Turned 25 this week. The video might be out later. Anyway, what an impact this movie has made, especially for someone who was born in 90. I remember, I do remember when the first film came out. I was about 4 years old, just seeing the logo everywhere, seeing some of the toys. Um, but the second film was really, really pushed. The toys were amazing. The commercials were just hilarious, especially with the Burger King watches and the cereal. It was all just freaking awesome. Just being a kid and living through that phenomenon. It was also pretty much how I feel that others who grew up with Star Wars when the original trilogy came out, just how much of an impact it probably inspired you to either be a filmmaker or want to do special effects, or Jurassic Park and The Lost World, and even GP3 for that matter, how they've inspired a lot of people to go into archaeology, paleontology, and whatnot. Maybe even stop motion. I'm really closely looking into doing some stop motions for the channel. When I have some more time, you're talking to someone who works at night and sleeps during the day, a big essential worker. I've gone through my trials and tribulations and health issues, but getting through that. Aside from all that, my experience with The Lost World Jurassic Park is just being such a freaking nerd about dinosaurs as a kid. I don't really know much of anything about them anymore now. Um, I remember, I'm pretty sure I remember I knew more and more dinosaurs and just forgot. You get older and you start to lose some of your memories about the things you were just obsessed with half the time and really wanting to know more about. But all in all, I'm like, what brings me back is just this movie of the adventure, the suspense, the music for that matter. The music is just amazing for this film. And yes, it's not perfect. There are a lot of videos on YouTube that others tear the movie apart. The logic doesn't make any sense. And then the fact the first one's logic doesn't make sense, where why didn't why didn't Muldoon just tranquilize the velociraptor and they just dump it? It's it's logic over fun, I would say. But seeing the trailers nonstop, people around my neighborhood saying that they went to go see it. Remember back then, I didn't really have internet. We didn't have really a source of internet. It was the dial up. It was almost a before AOL was becoming a thing back in '97. It was just like word of mouth, where I would see it on newspapers or see it on products. The toys were pretty much what was telling me that there was a movie coming out or there was something new coming out, or commercials for that matter. Uh, but I do remember just being so hyped, because as a kid, you always think that there's always going to be a sequel to maybe anything you watch, either be superheroes or cartoons. But then as you grow older, you realize, like, damn, it's like that didn't get a sequel. And Jurassic Park didn't feel like it needed a sequel, but you know what? I know a lot of people say that it never should have had a sequel. It should have just been one movie. And I understand that. Even in the book, it was pretty much solid proof they nuked the they napalm the whole island, the Costa Rica government. And then Michael Crichton was forced to write that second book. Now, granted, I have read the second book a couple times. The second book is okay. I mean, it's not meaning like it's okay as bad things. It was a really good read. However, it's not a story I was expecting, but it had really great moments. That some of those moments didn't make it into the Lost World movie. I didn't end up reading the books until later on, until I was probably like 11, maybe 12, is when I started reading the books. And again, reminiscing about when the movie came out, we didn't go opening weekend. It was me, my sister, and my aunt. And when we went to go see it, um, usually our theaters around where we live, there's like a one classical theater that's like a dollar a person theater. Well, back then it was. Nowadays it's like $8. And then there was another theater which was called the Twin Theater, which was very limited. It would be like once every week they would have to switch out because they only had two auditoriums for showings. And then our mall got a six auditorium, a Cinema Six type of theater. First time being in there, we walked in, and holy crap, like I was pumped to see the second Jurassic Park movie. And as a kid, I got it wrong so often. I would end up saying the Lost World of Jurassic Park. I always put an of there when there never needed to be an of. There shouldn't have been an of. But yet I put it there. Again, as a child, I had a speech impediment. There's sometimes I struggle with it half the time. But in either case, walking into the theater, smelling that popcorn and the pop, when you walk into a theater, you smell the popcorn or you smell like cheese because they're making nacho cheese, and you smell either Coca-Cola, or maybe even Sprite. It was really nice. It was refreshing. And then I turn the left and I see this huge poster of the T-Rex. I think it might be the bull T-Rex or it might be the female T-Rex that are in the film. In either case, scared the crap out of me. Like I didn't jump or anything. I was just like, "Huh, whoa." And my sister kind of chuckled at me, and my aunt was just like, "You're gonna get scared of this movie, and I'm gonna have to drag you out." Uh, love my aunt, but she she always likes to give us crap. But hey, tough love. But yeah, we went to go see it. My mind was still on that poster, like I'm not afraid, just keep staring at it. But it's of the T Rex punching through the the logo of the film. It's I hated it, but it was just cool though. I was like, I hate you, but I think you're kind of cool. And then seeing the film, and it wasn't. I think we probably went at a really good time where it was me, my aunt, my sister. I think there were two other people in the theater. I sat like a seat in front of them because I knew my aunt was gonna try and freak me out. Let alone she was sitting right behind me with my sister next to her. And there were parts in the film that were just, it was a bit an odd opening where the wife screams and then you see Jeff Goldblum yawning and he's on the subway. It was a weird transition, but if anything, that indicated that this is going to be a different type of movie in a different type of tone. And I was with it. And as a kid, as that movie went on, I recall, holy cow, it was the part I said to myself as a kid was, no, Eddie, no. Because I liked the character Eddie. Not only liked the character of Eddie, I loved Eddie's car. Hence, he's called Eddie Carr. those amazing Mercedes Benz, and I wish they were toys, but they were toys, and they were called the ground rollers, ground trackers or whatever. One of those as a kid. Never could get one because they were always sold out. And I ended up getting like a Nick Van Owen where I think he had a hat on and he had a pterodon or pterodactyl. And I think at some point I also did get Eddie Carr, but they all looked different. The only ones that looked accurate to their characters were Robert Muldoon and Sarah Harding, Kelly, and I think Peter Ludlow were the ones that looked like they're actors. But in either case, I think I had those two action figures. But I would always substitute getting like a different car that I had and I put them in it and I'm like, yeah, that's the Jurassic Park car. But those cars were amazing. I got pissed off when he died because Eddie didn't need to go out like that. It was a cool death. My jaw dropped, and I'm pretty sure everybody who saw that death scene that's just the most memorable death scene in the whole entire franchise. As it keeps going and as Dominion is on its way, there are other death scenes in there that are memorable, but Eddie's Eddie Carr's death is the most cool death scene in a weird, morbid way, but also the most horrifying death scene. Even more horrifying if seeing those beautiful Mercedes Benz getting blown up and thrown off the cliff. But I always felt this film was. I know everybody has said that Fallen Kingdom is more darker than The Lost World, and I disagree. While The Fallen Kingdom is not my favorite, I have not seen that film since it came out. I have mixed feelings about it. It felt more of a really cliche dark comedy that there are parts that are kind of scary. I will admit that Indoraptor running down the hallway, kind of like Shining looking, was pretty freaky. But other than that, it just there's scenes in that movie that are memorable, but the whole movie I probably would be able to watch from beginning to middle to end. That would have my attention. Um, but I feel like The Lost World is a lot darker than that film, mainly because that island, when they kept saying this lost world, when Hammond says this lost world is found and pillaged, when he says that, and we end up seeing it with the hunters' boots on the ground, capturing those herbivores, and it's just like, oh man, it's like you're wrecking the place. Basically, what he said, but this island feels like a threat. It feels like we shouldn't be there. And with the lost in the lost world, you could get lost, and it's kind of terrifying that people shouting for help, even though they're not that far away. For I think his name is Dietrich Stark, Peter Stormare, who gets eaten by the little dinosaurs, was it's like he's getting taken out by these little dinosaurs, but then again, they're reptiles and their saliva they might be numbing him. Not only that, just hearing the sounds of when he goes over that tree trunk and you see that little pond and you see the blood coming out, and what you hear is, I think, is that one of the dinosaurs probably bit one of his jugulars and he just ended up dying. Like that was it. Is terrifying. Like it's a world that man is never supposed to be in, and I you can feel that when Jeff Goldblum and all of them are on the boat, when it transitions where Kelly is looking at the map, where she gets in the RV, she's looking at the map, and you see the five islands, and then it transitions, and then John Williams' score goes up, and you see it. It feels like this is someplace we shouldn't be, but we have to be here because gotta rescue Sarah because Sarah is not being smart. However, There are parts from that book I wish would have transitioned into that film, but what we got I thought was fine. Um, it's kind of a struggle where is the book better than the film? Sometimes you might go to that, or is the film better than the book? Um, I really go to the first film where I think both book and film are good. If I want a grittier, R-rated Jurassic Park, I'll go to the book and read it because it's a really good read. If I want something that is what Michael Crichton really originally wanted was the first book to be through the eyes of a child, and that's what the film is. It's through the eyes of a child. You feel the wonder, you feel the adventure coming in, and just the awe of looking at all these dinosaurs. And it still is a shame that to this day Hollywood just prefers having CGI rather than puppets or animatronics. You need to blend those things in, and Jurassic Park is really a really good example of it marries both and it just flows. It's organic, it fits. Yes, some of it has not aged very well, especially the T-Rex running after the Jeep and the raptors in the kitchen scene where if they jump up it fits but then it doesn't fit because it's like it's cartoon. Other than that, it's like the film's still it's still amazing. And none of the Jurassic Park films are perfect films. They all have their illogical things that happen. Like that doesn't make sense. Why would that happen? Shouldn't this happen? Especially with the Lost World, which gets a lot of backlash, and I'm on that too. Where if Sarah Harding is so smart, if everybody else is so smart, of the hunters, the gatherers, especially the gatherers saying, well, we can't, set up campfire because if we have campfire, or even light up a cigarette, when she tells Nick Van Owen, it's like, we're here to observe, not to interact. Yeah, it's like, but yet she has her jacket with the baby Rex's blood on it, and they get tracked, and she's pretty much the bad, the monkey's paw that gets everybody killed in the whole entire movie. And I know a lot of people didn't like the third act. I'm a bit mixed about the third act, but that one part in the third act, with the bull Rex in San Diego. I mean, it's really rough on them explaining what the hell happened on that ship. Why is everybody dead? Why do we see a severed hand? How did the Rex like rip everybody apart and then get back into the bottom of the ship when it breaks out? It doesn't really make sense. What I think of is that maybe there was a raptor on board that maybe slaughtered everybody. Maybe the dude who the hand that we see that security guard picks like gets out of that dead dude's hand is the one where he locked the Rex back in, but he probably killed the raptor. I don't know. That's just my theory. Anyway, but back to that imagery that is just nightmare fuel is I think his name is Benji, maybe, or his name's not Tim. Is a kid who looks outside and he sees the T-Rex looking right at him. Just that you pause that image and it is just terrifying. Imagine like you're a kid, you wake up, you hear the thumping, and then you look out and you see that freaking dinosaur right there, and you're just so terrified. But that kid's not terrified, and is like, okay, gonna go get mom and dad now. I kind of felt like it was turned into a different movie, where the family, the mother and the father, were just they're on the brink of getting a divorce. They're always fighting because she even mentions like, no, it's the stupid fish tank that you wasted money on, and it's like, oh no, the Rex ate our dog, and they freak out because then the kid takes a picture of the T-Rex and freaks out, and they all start screaming. Who knows what happened? Apparently, there's still images of the Rex. Its head is pushed into the window, Maybe he killed the family. We don't know. Well, it ate the dog. Hopefully, it's not John Wick's dog. I made a meme on that on my Instagram. Anyway, though, yeah, the San Diego scene didn't really bother me that much. I thought it was actually pretty kind of cool, especially seeing those fake posters in that video store. You get a Burger King ad when the Rex hits the bus, and bus driver's like, "Everybody get on the side of the bus." And then seeing cameos from the writer David Kep, who is titled "Poor Bastard," who gets eaten before he tries to go into a blockbuster or going somewhere. I assume it's a blockbuster because it's blue and yellow that you see on the inside reflection. Um, Other cameos from the cast. Kathleen Kennedy makes a cameo with screaming next to the Japanese people who apparently are yelling, "I left Tokyo to get away from this," which I think, which it's not subtitled, but some say that that's what that's translated. I think people get confused because I remember specifically in Inspector Gadget with Matthew Broderick. That is a terrible movie, but have a soft spot for it. Is where the evil Inspector Gadget is rummaging and wreaking havoc on the city, and you see him in an alleyway chasing people, and you see an Asian guy, and he's speaking Japanese. He's speaking Japanese, saying, "I left Tokyo to get away from this, to get away from Godzilla or something." If I can remember correctly, I'm like, I think people get those too confused. Anyway, that's an aside. Anyway, uh, back to the Lost World and how it ends. I know some people think the end is really grim because it kind of is. It's like the bad guy gets his comeuppance, and the T Rex is like you hearing the guy scream, getting eaten by the baby Rex, and you see the bull Rex just looking like, "Yes, my child, feed, feed." And they take T Rex out. Uh, they tranquilize it, see it on the CNN news, and Hammond making the speech of, "We need to leave the island alone. The Costa Rican government is going to be taking control. Nobody will visit that island. The animals just need to be left alone without us, because life will find a way." Because it is a really good ending, but then it also, like, you scratch your head. I'm like, how come we didn't see those pterodactyls? I'm like, that would have been cool to see them. Apparently, they were supposed to be in the movie, but they changed the ending. The ending was supposed to be the rescuers leaving, and then the pterodactyls' nests were on that center, that village where they all went on the helipad, and they got attacked. But they had to reuse that for Jurassic World 2015, which is fine. I mean, I like that ending too. Um, I was always back and forth with this movie as a kid. I was always, it's better than the first one because there's more there's more humans and there's more dinosaurs. Where in the first film we were limited to it, but then I'm like, no, the first movie's better, and then the second one's not. And then the third one came out, and I thought the third one was pretty cool. I I I'm not upset that the T Rex in that movie died. I'm like, it has no chance just because of seeing the posters as a kid. I'm like, that's a new dinosaur they're introducing, so I guess T Rex is no more. To me, the biggest disappointment in that third one was that it wasn't going back to the first island, because we know it was established in this one that leave Isla Sorna alone. But what about that first island? But that's those are my thoughts for another day. But yeah, after seeing this movie though, I remember as a kid I was speechless, but also I was just like, I want to buy those toys. It's like, mom, it's like telling my mom, it's like, mom, you got to give me that T Rex. Mom, you got to give me that Mercedes Benz, that car, mom, come on. Well, of course, I never could. I just got Eddie Carr and I got Nick Van Owen. I also there was, if anybody remembers the dummy drivers from the 90s where they would always have commercials and they had toys, believe it or not. There was a garage sale my mom went to and she got me it, and it was a truck, a neon truck. And she got it for me, and I just thought, I'm like, you know what? This is going to be Eddie Carr's car. And it also did come with the dummies. One didn't really have a bottom half because they come apart because they're dummies. So of course I would just reenact. My hand would be the T Rex. Is until later on I got one of those little micro machine Godzilla mouths. Didn't play with the inside because there's nothing to play with. It's just you open it up and then there's an egg and then there's like a cave. Um, Micro machines that they would have, and I would just have them like, okay, this is the T Rex. Even though Godzilla doesn't eat people, he only eats fish. But I'm like, this'll do, that'll do. Don't worry about it. This'll do. So using that, and I would just make my own toys from Jurassic Park. Now, as a 32-year-old man, I'm having an issue of buying a lot of old Jurassic Park stuff. I recently bought the watches from Burger King. I didn't get the one that's in amber. That's kind of gooey. That one I didn't get, but I got a Stegosaurus, which is one I had when I was a child, and I love that watch. But ended up, if you're a kid, you go outdoors, and I was rollerblading, I was riding my bicycle. Things happen, and that watch didn't last long. I got that one. I got the Raptor I one, and I also got the T Rex one. I'm gonna try and see if they still work, if I can put batteries in them. I'm also gonna be doing a showing of it because I got a projector and I got a projector screen for outdoor movie. It's nice enough. Summertime is coming. It's already here, so why not just have it play outside and have my friends and some family come over and we all watch it. Feel like it being in the theater. But yeah, it's like the toys, the merchandise. Also purchased the Lost World game. Now the PlayStation game is okay. I would have just preferred something more like Jurassic Park 2, The Chaos Continues, or much more Jurassic Park Rampage edition for the Sega. Or just straight up Dino Crisis, which is in talks that they might actually do. And also seeing the Dominion trailer and seeing that Gigantosaurus is how you say it. Again, I'm not good with words. Coming through that window was basically like Dino Crisis. I mean, I'm excited for Dominion, but I'm more excited for the Mattel Legacy Edition that they're doing of old toys that they're bringing back. Uh, it's the 25th anniversary of the Lost World. They've already got given us our our uh our Roland Timbo. I'm sorry, our Roland Timbo figure with the car with the Patasaurus, I believe, and Sarah Harding with the Stegosaurus and the little baby Stegosaurus. I hope that, because there's two more coming, I hope that they give us the Mercedes Benz. Because my other previous video from last year, if you guys go watch it, sorry I'm a bit awkward in that one. I give an update on my little personal collection. I have the Snap It model for the Mercedes Benz. I don't know if I want to put that together because I still haven't taken it out of the box. Because it was a purchase I made on eBay a few years ago, and it being 25 years old now, it's like, I don't know if I want to do that. That's a bit risky. So, please, Mattel, please give us the Mercedes Benz. Give us the Mercedes Benz. Give us I mean, you can give us the RV, the RV if you wanted to. I know it's in cardboard setup that they have, but come on, we'll give you the money. We'll give you the money. Uh, but yeah, those are just my experiences with the Lost World. I feel like it's a very highly underrated, underappreciated in the films. I know I mean, films have not had a good track record since The Lost World, because I know 3 had a troubling behind the scenes of the script is always changing, things weren't going the way they wanted them to. Jurassic World, I know everybody said it's just a retread, it's just Force Awakens, it's just playing on our nostalgia. But what other way were they supposed to, bring us all back to Jurassic Park than do a straight up reboot, retelling of the same story, but also using the book itself? That's why I like Jurassic World. And like, it felt like the book. It did feel like the first film. It was John Hammond's dream coming true. Fallen Kingdom had to end the way it did with. I mean, there's so many times you can go to the island where it just gets old immediately. Blow up the island. I know everybody said it was stupid that it had a volcano on it. They didn't know about that. Well, yeah, they did because it was in the first film. It was on the freaking. It was on the visitor tour thing. If anything, the whole entire like Isla Sorna, Isla Nublar was powered by theothermal uh geothermal power from the lava from the volcano. I call that a safe plan in case the lysine thing didn't work out, is the volcano blowing up and killing all the dinosaurs. But yeah, I have no need probably to go back and rewatch Fallen Kingdom. If everybody, I know there are others who really love it. I've seen others analyze it, and it's really interesting seeing everybody else what they think of that film, and how they interpret things. I just I can see it, but I still can't sit through it and watch it with so many silly and bad decisions. I think everybody in Fallen Kingdom makes worse decisions than anybody in the Lost World, Jurassic Park. Uh, Jurassic Park's of course. I mean, I'm not gonna say that the Lost World doesn't have great characters, because it does have great characters. We all love Jeff Goldblum as Ian Malcolm, uh, being the father that he is, and I do think it is still silly that people thought like there's no resemblance between him and his daughter. I'm like, he could have adopted. There's interracial marriage. Who cares? I believe that it was his daughter. It's because I have some people in my family who it's who are in interracial relationships. It's like, yeah, I don't see a resemblance, but did the blood test. That's the biological daughter. Or if not, like I said, they adopted. Julianne Moore's character is. It's sad it's nothing like the book character, because the book character was such a badass. Um, but she is sweet. She does have that heart, and she does have some of those brains half the time. Nick Van Owen is okay. Eddie was really just the funny, charming friend who would kind of bust your chops a little bit, but he meant well. I mean, the dude went out like a badass. Out of all the heroes, I mean, being very, very heroic, he kept on pushing on that pedal to save his friends while the T-Rexes were ripping his car apart. He, to me, he is the ultimate hero who risked everything in the franchise. Yes, we know like Owen is a badass. We know that Grant is also a hero, and half of everybody else has their moments, but Eddie had a really big moment, and the man gave his life by saving theirs. Malcolm's words. But another character who I was really surprised they took out his scene, it felt like a different movie. The deleted scene, Roland Timbo, Pete Postawaite's character, how he was introduced, kind of felt like a bit like Indiana Jones, but also, I recently rewatched, haven't seen in a while, um, League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. Alan Quartermain, like the Great Hunter, is what he's called. Sean Connery's character, and that movie's another movie I really enjoy. I know it's not amazing, but I enjoy it. As I look back at it, Roland Timbo is kind of that character, but also that it's like he's hunted everything, and he wants a challenge, and his friend Aj comes in and it's like, I'll give you a challenge, but before that, he sees a waitress getting harassed, really harassed by drunk Americans, and he beats the shit out of one of them and keeps taking a shot every single. He gets a shot of tequila or whatever it is, and just freaking beats the crap out of this dude, and then goes back, talks to Aj, and he says to him, it's like, what quarrel could I possibly be interested to me at all? And of course, then we get his introduction, his badass speech that he gives Ludlow of telling him off. It's like, when I'm in charge, okay? Shut your mouth, do what I tell you, alright? That's all. I just want to hunt this big old T Rex. How I'm going to do it is my business. So shut up, rich boy. Let me, it's like, let me run this trip. Okay. But yeah, his character is just, it's he's probably the best character out in the whole entire franchise, in my opinion. Uh, Other than that, this movie, wow, from the marketing, from the merchandise, from the movie, and also we could have had an animated series, and we do have an animated series, Camp Cretaceous, that's in its sixth season, I think, on Netflix. Its final season coming up soon. Uh, yeah, but again, when I talk about the island, though, just it feels scary because whenever the two movies I watched as a kid, that well, three movies I watched as a kid that dealt with really the jungle, um, the Jungle Book that had Jason Scott Lee. It also did have Sam Neill from 1994, I believe, 94, 93. It was directed by Stephen Sommers. That dealing with the jungle and also it freaking me out about the jungle, along with Jumanji. Now we know that in Jumanji we don't see him in the jungle. He talks about it in the way Robin Williams acted and telling the kids about. He's like, "You're all alone. You're cold, and you hear screams. You hear things, and you hear them eat, and you pray to God that you're not on the menu." He says, I'm paraphrasing what he says, but just the way he says it was like, damn. Not only that, it kind of goes into the Lost World of just how scary this island is. You know, they have a group of people with them, yeah, that's fine. But as soon as when shit hits the fan, it's just insane. And it's, it's scary. But, yeah, it's like, it always just stuck with me. Um, Also, talking about video games, wasted a lot of quarters playing that arcade game. That was that was in a Walmart as I was growing up because I would always ask my mom. It's like, can I have some quarters because I want to go play that game? It's like, you can go ahead and grocery shop. It's like, I'll be right here. I swear. But yeah, always wasting quarters on that damn game. I know you can probably play it on emulator now. Yeah, Jurassic Park, man, Lost World, 25 years old. Sheesh, time flies. Especially with 30 years for 30 years is next year, and June 10th is how old the first one's going to be. Damn, childhood memories. But also just that those two films just sparked a lot and still resonate. I still feel like The Lost World has a better poster. The Stone, man. Sorry, I'm sorry I'm pausing. It I'm just thinking and it just goes back. Anyway, sorry I've been taking so long for making my videos, guys. You know, things happen, but I wanted this one to be special and just along with everybody else celebrating the 25th anniversary of the Lost World Jurassic Park. And give it a rewatch, guys. give a rewatch. Let me know what you guys think. Tell me your memories in the comments down below of where were you when you first saw this? Who were you with when you first saw this? Did you get yourself a Burger King watch? Or did somebody drag you to go see it? Did anybody jump scare you when you went to go see it? Also, that's another thing that did happen when my aunt had me and my sister watch this movie in theaters, is when Sarah and Kelly are digging underneath that small hole in that garage. It looked like a garage, a shed to me. And the raptors are on the other side trying to dig and trying to scooch themselves under to get to them. When the raptor pops in and does a jump scare, my sister freaked and hit my aunt's leg right next to her and said, "Son of a bitch. Ay, Alicia." It was funny. It was a funny time. But then also my aunt didn't help when she was trying to scare me when she had her nails, and when I forgot which part it was, but she tried freaking me out with her nails by clawing at my head, but her nails were too long and it kind of hurt, and I was like, "Ow!" She's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, mijo." But yeah, that's my memory. Either case, again, guys, let me know in the comments what you think about this film. If you didn't like it, let me know. I want to know why you didn't like it. I probably can understand why you didn't like it, or if you really loved it. Um, what are your memories of it when you went to go see it? Or when you probably finally saw it on VHS and you probably got yourself that hologram 3D on the VHS cover. Anyway, again, like, share, subscribe. Let me know what you guys think. Laters.